We are It's Just a Hill, a cycling club that promotes inclusion, judgment-free, with no gatekeepers. Focused on creating content from behind the handlebars to in the studio, It's Just a Hill is producing videos and podcasts to spread the message that cycling is for everyone. We are focused on reminding everyone that riding your bike can help you overcome any obstacle, because after all, it's just a hill.
Thank you, Bert.
All right, I guess I'll do the clap.
Okay.
Oh, wait.
Right.
Cool.
Wow, nice job. Keep that in the final cut, please. Don't edit
Thank
that
you.
out.
God doesn't even know where to clap.
Yeah. Okay, well, I guess that's how we're starting it. Maybe
it.
not, maybe so. This is the second episode of It's Just a Hill podcast. You know, we're still trying to figure out even how to start the show, let alone what we're supposed to do here. I'm John.
I'm Jeremy.
Jeep?
Maddie. Jared.
Brian,
Cool. Jeep, you weren't with us last time.
No.
We talked about you.
welcome.
My
We did.
presence is ever around.
Big
Yes. Jeep, some things that we talked about in the first episode were sort of like how we got into riding, maybe some of what like our first bikes were. So would you like to download us and the audience on like some of that stuff real quick before we get into our topics? So why you ride, anything that, you know, just to give us a little intro about
absolutely.
you. Yeah.
Yeah, so I've been into bikes since I can remember. My first bike was a Dyno Zone, which I was so hyped about.
I don't know what that is, but that sounds
So it was a BMX
cool.
bike, and Dyno is owned by GT or absolved by GT now, but it was a really sick bike at the time. I really liked it, and the bike shop that I bought that bike from, I actually ended up working at for about 8 years, and so I've been in bikes for a long time and got out of it for a bit, and getting back in.
Now we're here.
Here we are.
Yeah. And what do you ride now?
I ride a Cannondale Super 6 Evo Dirt Ace 2.
It's beautiful.
It is. Yeah.
Hell
Just
yeah.
hearing the words makes me think of it. I always think of the chain rings. Those hologram chain
yeah.
Yeah, the
rings.
Spider Ring and the
Yeah.
high vis orange that's on the lettering.
Yeah.
hmm
Very nice.
It looks like a hunter's bicycle.
I actually
Like the
carry a
dark
rifle
green.
when I ride, so
Slung over your back. And on Sundays, he just brings out the bow and arrow. You know, it's a little bit
Yeah.
more, a little bit more casual.
arrow.
Yeah, right. It's more arrow.
Way more
Yeah.
arrow.
Yeah. Well, thank you,
Arrow.
Jeep.
Yikes.
Oh, wow. That was good. That was good. I'm sorry I even
Nailed
stepped
it.
on it at all. Yeah. So we're going to talk about a few subjects here today. First thing, I think, I know, we're going to talk about group rides. It's something that we've been putting together. We've been doing like group rides once a week, which you can follow along with our Strava group and stay up to date with all of that. But there is a lot of what I would say like nuance to riding with a group as opposed to riding by yourself, right? By yourself, you can sort of just ride. You don't have to point anything out on the road. You don't have to worry about when anyone else might want to stop, might not want to stop. You can do your own thing. When you're riding with other people, there might be sort of different etiquettes you want to maintain. And I think a lot of the time those rules are unwritten or they go unsaid. And I think that that is silly. Why would you make unwritten rules? Like, let's like at least talk about them and present them as rules. And then I can decide whether or not I want to follow them.
Mhm.
These are some rules that I think are good. So the first thing I think of onto like group rides, and I think like we can go around and share what our experience might be and or what our suggestions might be for etiquette on rides like that. But the first thing that comes to mind for me is like pointing objects out on the road, whether that be a pothole or some debris or I don't know. Like the other day, I saw a toy of a baby toy. It was like a little plastic like action figure that was a baby with a big head. And I thought that was fun to see, but you also had to point it out because if someone hit it, that'd be a real issue, right?
Yeah.
So like, Brian, what are some things that you think of like that you want to do in terms of like etiquette on the road or just like in a group ride as opposed to riding by yourself? Is there anything that you think of?
Other than pointing things out on the road?
Right. Or like, why is pointing things out on the road important? And yeah, what are some other things that you might think of?
Well, definitely important to point things out because everyone's riding so close together.
Right. Your
You know,
visibility is different, right?
Yeah, visibility is different, especially if you're in the back, and then you have to rely on that person's relying on that person, relying on that person. Like, you know, people are going down the line,
right,
pointing out, and if someone misses it, someone reacts late, could catch a wheel or something.
Sure.
Game over.
Yep.
I'm trying to think of what else. You know, letting people know there's a car passing,
Oh, yep, that's a good one.
Yep.
either in front or behind.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sometimes around a blind corner, you might even want to know when a car is approaching you.
Yeah.
Or a car. I mean, there also, I feel like there's like a fine line between saying something all the time, right? Because then it
Like
becomes
in traffic or something.
yeah, you know, like obviously there are
Holding a sign
car
out.
back.
yeah, car back. Like, yeah, right. And it sort of
Car
takes
back.
away of the pleasure of the ride.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I think there are so you sort of have to like use your judgment on stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To kind of tag on to that, I think maybe it's not like a rule or for everybody, but like situational awareness is huge on group rides.
Yep.
So like even like learning which distance you're comfortable with the wheel in front of you,
Absolutely.
or like
Yeah.
with someone next to you or something.
Yep.
Like I like to ride side by side, and some people aren't comfortable with that, and you kind
Right.
of like put them off guard, and maybe they're afraid they're going to go off the road or something. But yeah, it's not a rule or anything, but I think that's a valuable skill to learn. One of the things, not to go off on a tangent about group rides, but like one of the things that
This is about group
Yeah.
rides, so it's not
I
even.
don't wanna
It's a
switch-
structured.
not to talk about the topic.
I have
that
no
we're talking
idea.
about.
Not to talk
no,
about
no.
something
I don't wanna
completely
I
different.
don't want to change the thread on everybody.
No,
but,
please.
So like one of the things that I did not expect, and I know we try and not do this in our group rides, but getting dropped being a normal thing. Like my first group ride, I got dropped within the first like 15 miles.
Yeah, sure. Same.
And completely lost. I had no bike computer at the time or anything like that. So like, I think that's an unexpected thing when it comes to group rides. And then, you know, really, I know we're going to go into this too, but like really learning how to like fuel properly on those long rides because
sure.
the pacing is much harder.
Those things go hand in hand.
Yeah.
Right.
absolutely.
Yeah. Normally the pacing will be harder for a group ride. So yeah, learning to properly fuel because I've bonked a few times on.
Right, and all that sort of
Amen.
stuff like comes with experience,
Yeah.
right? But I think because even we talk about it as people who ride their bikes all the time, but some people might not even understand what with like riding in a pace line is like, right?
Right.
Like because there are benefits to drafting off of someone in front of you. You can save energy if you're in the middle of the pack as opposed to if you're in the front of the pack.
Jeremy.
Well, and there's different ways of going about that, right? Like you, Jared, you mentioned riding side by side,
Yeah.
or there's like we can get super into it where there's like echeloning where there's crosswind, and so if the wind is coming from the right, you're riding in like behind the person in front of you to their left to
Yeah.
block the wind appropriately.
Yeah.
So there's so much to it, right? But like when it comes to just a group ride, and I feel like we know it in a way because we do it often, but like some people are listening to this, they might not even know what a pace line is, right?
Right.
So like
I don't think I know what
A
it is.
perfect-
Yeah,
There might be people on this podcast
That's
that
fine.
don't know what a pace line
so
is.
what like do you want, what do you think a pace line is, or what should we just explain it to you?
It's exactly what it sounds like.
Why don't,
Okay.
what if you were to explain it?
So if you're riding in a group with 5 people, right? You could be riding next to each other, or you could be riding in a straight line. And that's what we mean by a pace line. So you're riding with one person in front and then you're following single file. Normally that means that you are less than a wheel's distance in between the person in front of, like the person in front of you's rear wheel and your front wheel, right? The closer you are, the more energy you're going to save as the person in back. And if you're riding in a group of 5, I would say that the person that's in third or fourth position is probably saving the most amount of energy. The person that's on the back tends to work a little bit more than you think they might because they're more exposed to the elements being in the back. They're catching the end of that
Yeah,
draft.
that's
right.
true.
Yep, right. So if you're in the middle, that's even better. When you watch professional racing, Grand Tour racing, there's the peloton, right, is the main group of riders. Sometimes that's 200 people. The person in the front is putting out way more power than the people who are in the middle of it, right? So that's an even more like bigger group of like a pace line. But that's sort of the idea, is riding in a line as opposed to just riding side by side, and how you can save energy, and how, you know, maybe sometimes you only want to be in the front of that line for a certain amount of rotations because you're putting out so much more energy. So maybe you just go out there for a minute, the next person comes a minute. That's very structured. That's not necessarily what any of us are trying to do or, want to do on our group rides or our single rides or anything. But does that make sense?
Yeah.
For a pace line?
And to put into reference, a lot of times if you've ever done cross country running or like soccer, they'll do a similar formation when they're running around the field, and then they'll switch who comes to the front, who drops to the back. It's a similar type of thing.
Yeah.
Right. So the person in the front is like taking that headwind,
Right.
and everyone else is being allowed to save a little bit of energy. And if you're working as a team, you're working together, you trade off on like who's out in front, and there's a lot of strategy behind that in like pro cycling, but I think there's even benefits to it in like casual rides.
Right.
Yeah.
Any other unwritten rules people can think of, or
Yeah, actually, I'm always curious if people get uncomfortable with how close you get to their back wheel, because I'm usually pretty close.
Yeah.
Like a rub comes out every once in a while.
well, the good thing about that is if you're too
Rub one
close,
out.
you're probably going to be the one to go down.
Right.
You know?
Right. And that's what I'm thinking about the whole time.
And I think that sort of speaks to what Jared was saying before, is situational awareness and knowing that
Your risk.
you can people who you can
But
ride
you're also
behind.
putting everybody behind you in.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's like
Right.
machine gun fire.
Right. Not to put Brian on too much of a pedestal, but I could ride behind Brian all day. I understand his cadence.
Same
a lot.
thing with you.
We ride together a lot, so I'm very comfortable being super close to his back wheel.
It's so funny because
Adorable.
like I literally think the same shit. Like
Yeah.
when we're in group rides and stuff, I'm like, all right, I'm behind John. I know what
Sure.
he's gonna do.
Other people
But
you
there's
never
so many
ridden
people
with,
that are like sporadic.
know.
You know, the
no
way
offense
they
to them, you just
react.
don't know. You need to be like safe.
Yeah.
So
Oops, go ahead.
I was just gonna
You-
branch
Oh,
off.
they both
of
look so down.
Yeah.
Like, they
I want
both
to talk
were
about
so
how
ready.
great Brian is to be.
Okay, I didn't realize you were gonna pat him on the back. I would have said I would have gone, but go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say, like, I've ridden with Brian a lot, probably more than anybody else. And whenever I've drafted off of him, I've never touched his back tire. But I was like recovering on the ride the other day, and what was that kid's name? Josh? Is that what his name?
Yeah, Josh was on a ride with us.
Josh.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So I was on Josh's back tire, and I rubbed his tire like twice
Oh, wow.
because I just like
Well,
was.
why? That's wild. I don't know if I've ever done
That would
this.
scare me.
I don't know if
think
I've ever
done
Dude, I
that.
get
Maybe
close.
once.
I get close.
When, like in the, like, are you
Crazy.
talking like tired? Are you talking the sidewall at all, or?
I just did like a quick like touch on one, and then I like kind of like.
I bumped Jeff's tire once, but that was because we stopped real quick. But that
Wow.
was it.
That's heavy.
I mean, yeah, it happens.
It was
It's
like
not
a,
like I'm. It's not like I'm like riding any closer than I normally would to somebody that I've ridden with before. It's just I don't know how he like responds. He
Oh,
actually
different
everyone-
people ride differently, and that doesn't necessarily mean it's like a weakness or a strength. It's just different,
Just
right? People
style.
approach corners differently, or different. Like we ride with some people that just spin all day. They super high cadence, and then other people just grind and grind
Yeah.
and grind. It's just different.
I think a lot has to do with like how pin straight like people stay.
Absolutely.
that too. Yeah.
That's something
Stability.
that we were talking about on one of our rides the other day. Is Jeep, you had something to say?
So
Sorry.
Yes, please.
my point was that, to the point that you guys were talking about, is riding with people that you don't know about.
Yeah.
And in my experience as a mechanic and seeing bikes come in
For certain
that
reasons.
have been crashed.
Yeah.
Charity rides, just novice riders that don't know, they want to ride next to each other, but they don't understand that when one person goes up, that if you cross your wheel, you're going to go down and smash your head. And railroad tracks. They would come in and they would say, railroad tracks, nothing I could do. I'm like, what do you mean?
Train
When you get to
tracks.
the railroad tracks and turn your wheel, it doesn't make any sense.
Nothing I can do.
Yeah, it's like verbatim. That actually has been said. So it's just you have to know the experience of the riders that are around you.
Maybe they went over the actual railroad
Jesus,
tracks,
take
like
the
not
wheel.
at the crossing.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
just fucking down.
Into
They
a
didn't get
railroad
they
Right
didn't,
at the railroad tie.
they didn't get hit by the train. They
Yeah.
just fell on the tracks. But to my point is that you have to know the experience of the people around you, because if you just assume that everyone's handling the bike the same as you, you're gonna maybe
You're gonna
not.
have a bad time.
You're gonna have a
If
bad
you French fry when you're supposed to pizza, you're gonna have a bad time.
Did you guys notice anything different as far as group ride mechanics on your gravel ride the other day?
No, because we pretty much
Kinda-
rode with people that we knew.
Okay.
So we started, Brian and I did a gravel ride the other day, recently, as far as this recording is concerned, this past weekend.
Yes.
Cat has entered the chat.
Yeah, we started with a group of 6 of us. Some people split off, but it was very much, we were doing pretty much the same thing. On gravel rides, you don't point as much out because there's so much shit that you're going around. It's different than a road ride.
There was at one point where we were all together riding a pace line on gravel, and I was like, wow, I've never done this before. This is kind of sick.
Has anyone ever ridden a mountain bike or done mountain bike trails before?
Yes, but very limited experience.
So it's like gravel riding, but like there's no chance of a pace line because you're all over the place.
Yeah, there's no way. I would never be that close. Like for so many reasons.
It was
my
like
own safety, everyone else's.
It was like your basic gravel road. Like it wasn't like a single track. But I was like, damn, this is pretty cool.
Yeah. But then there were some times where it was me, you, and Noah. In single track, and we were ripping. Like drafting. You know, like because we're used to riding with each other.
Yeah.
And so that's where that comes into play, right? Like situational awareness, understanding that like you can call things out, but you also can't understand what everyone's going to be doing. We talk about like flicking your elbows when you're about to stand up. So if you're about to stand up on the bike as opposed to sitting down in the saddle, when you go to stand up, that might change your cadence. It might change the way that you pedal. The power that you put out might be more or less. That means that your bike is going to shift one way or the other,
right?
Unless you plan for it accordingly. And so something that I learned from my dad and from watching pro cycling is when you're working like with a team, it's not necessarily a race tactic, right? Because sometimes you don't want to know. People want to know what you're doing, but you flick your elbows so that you're going to stand up, so the person behind you might ease off a little bit too, so they don't catch your front wheel.
Yeah.
You know? So yeah, just like more shit like that. And I think there are so many other things that we might not even come across. But does anyone else have any other input, unwritten rules, or questions about like things that might happen on a group ride, or anything like that?
So one thing to the point of the dropping is that, a lot of times it's a kind of a hardo thing, like, oh, you fell off the back. But to let up is a big thing. And to kind of segue into the next topic of maybe the tour is that when there are crashes, even in professional sports, they let up.
Yeah.
So they're not just going to speed off and leave them for dead.
Right.
Yeah. Be respectful, right? Like, especially I think that is what we're trying to do with our rides. It's like be respectful of each other, different people, different abilities, and different days. You might just wake up and you're not having a great day. Like, who wants to drive a half hour to a ride, get all geared up, and then take off, and 10 miles in, you're not with
that was like the gravel ride the other day.
I've experienced that before too.
16 miles in, I ended up by myself because I was just like, I didn't feel I'm like, I don't feel right today. And then after we left that feed zone, we were together the whole time. Like something kicked back in, and I was like, oh, all right, I'm good.
Yeah.
But yeah, it happens.
And like it happens sometimes. If you're racing, it's totally different, right? But like when you're going out just trying to ride with your friends, what the hell? What a bummer. That's such a bummer. It's happened to me. Like you get dropped in no man, like you think there's a group behind you, but you're just in no man's land. You're not going to get scooped up. You don't know where you are. You're following spray painted arrows on a road, because that's something that they still do around here. Like they send a human out on we have like $300 computers on our bikes, but let's go spray paint a road for cue sheets. Some people are into that still. That's not really for me.
Still thinking about how
all
fast
over Rehoboth.
Brian watched me die on the side of the road one time.
Yeah.
It was quite an event.
We brought you back to life.
I tried to go around the pond. I got like a quarter way around the pond and had to turn around.
I've been there. Legs locked up on a climb. I've been completely dropped when you're just thinking about how fast the group ahead of you is going and how fast they're going to get back to the cars before you.
Yeah.
And you're just all salted.
I still have 25 miles left, and this is how I feel.
Yeah.
I thought I was such a great rider until I started riding with groups that actually rode.
Oh yeah. Especially when you get, I don't know, if you're new to cycling and you just start joining a group and there's a few hardos in there, like they can really blow everything up. But we've been on plenty of rides like that. Yeah.
I'm not. Yeah. This isn't like a blacklist podcast.
No.
Start a list. I actually have a list.
Showing pictures.
Yes.
This guy.
I have a spreadsheet.
This is what he looks like in his kit. This is what he looks like at work.
shame this person.
Because everyone also looks so
different.
You know, some people you'll see them with their helmet off for the first time. You're like, oh,
Yeah.
that's what you look like.
Yeah.
Attached to your head.
Okay, yeah,
Yo,
wow.
It's like when Darth Vader takes his mask off.
There are some people we ride with that I still don't know what they look like just because like they wear helmets, they got the
show up
Rokas
with
on.
some arrow ass helmet and some big old sunglasses.
Yo,
Windshield.
the ride the other day, we were with a kid that I worked with for 3 years.
No,
I didn't even realize.
Oh, was that Brian?
Yeah,
Oh,
wow.
You worked with him?
for 3
I
years.
heard you guys talking in 7 stars.
Yeah.
Wow, that's
And you
wild.
didn't
That's
know it was
awesome.
him? Because he had his helmet and
He
shit
worked in
on?
the cube right next to me too.
Wow.
And I like had when we were in the parking lot, I looked at him. I was like, "That's not him." It's like this kid doesn't ride, and he's fast. He's like,
Oh, he's strong as hell.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
was like a
Fast
train
rider.
out front. He was strong as hell.
Yeah.
for real. Yeah. Anytime I was behind him, I was like, "Shit!" I'm like,
Yeah.
I was like getting towed.
He's
Basically.
great. I've only ridden with him a couple times, but yeah, he's awesome.
Got
He
a
did that
cool bike,
century
too.
that we did like a couple years back.
Oh,
in,
okay.
like, the
Yep.
Rehoboth,
Yeah.
Swansea area.
Oh yeah, that was a great one.
Yeah.
Since we're talking about group rides, shameless plug for the It's Just a Hill group ride.
That's right.
Strava
Yeah.
Club, It's Just a Hill. Every week.
Yeah. The
Cue the-
website.
cue
It's
the
just
theme
a hill.
music.
That was nice. That was nice.
Jeep, you mentioned the tour.
Mhm.
Moving ahead, there will be some spoilers for the first 3 stages of the 2021 Tour de France.
Action packed.
Yep.
It's been crazy.
I like so
need to catch up.
you talked about crashes.
Mhm.
These first three stages have been no there have been no crashes. No, that's the opposite of what I'm trying to say. There have been tons. As recently as today, which I only watched some of the highlights for.
Yeah.
Big teams going down, big riders going down. I mean, people spend their whole lives trying to get to this point, and there have been different crashes for different reasons. Some of them because of spatial awareness of other riders.
Some external reasons.
Some dumbasses on the
Some
side of the
Which
road.
I think
Cardboard
is the most
reasons.
notable reason. Which actually the Tour Federation came to, or whatever they call it. I don't know if
Yep.
it's Federation. Makes it sound like the Death Star.
Well, that sounds about right for like the UCI. And
Yeah, we're
But
calling it a
there are
federation.
the woman that was in this incident has
Yeah.
fled the country, but they are
Correct.
seeking
What?
legal
Correct.
repercussions for this.
Yes.
Not necessarily just to get her, but to make an example of people that are going to make a scene on the side of the road. And
Right.
I mean, I was talking to Brian about this yesterday. I mean, for just the financial reason of just like these teams that have made these
Investments
investments
almost.
on people, and
Yeah.
let's say just the bikes.
Yeah.
You crash, say conservatively, 7 bikes, $70,000.
Oh,
Yes.
easy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Easy.
easy.
Easy,
Yeah.
10 grand a bike.
Yeah.
Easy.
Exactly.
Yep.
So I mean, that's the other thing, and not to mention the money that you've invested in the athlete that's riding that bicycle.
Mhm.
So I mean, it's huge, and
Or
it's
the
just,
emotional toil you go through to get to that point in your life where you can be at the top of your game, right?
and this is how it goes down.
Chris Froome, right?
Yep.
I don't love Chris Froome.
No.
I don't want him to win. I don't. It sucks to see him come back from the injury that he came back from, get to the level where he can ride in the Tour de France
Yeah.
and crash in the first
Yeah.
stage.
Or
It's
uh,
terrible.
Didn't he
Oh.
fracture his hip or something?
I know it wasn't good.
Yeah.
Hip or collarbone. I feel
Yeah.
like it's like a one or the flip.
Somebody
A coin.
didn't somebody break both arms?
Yep.
Oh,
Like,
wow. I
or-
didn't
To
know.
get and just like to get that far and that soon into the race,
Right.
you're
Yeah.
you're done.
This
Or
guy
for
can't even
someone
pull
like-
out his passport to get home.
Yeah.
someone like
He
Geraint
lives in
Thomas,
France now.
Yes.
someone like Geraint Thomas who crashed today, who he was a GC
Yeah.
expective and
Right.
done.
He
Is
kind
it-
of does he get paid to crash?
Yeah.
He crashes all the
He's
time.
got bad
When-
luck,
when
man.
they-
He's got
That
really
dude
bad luck.
crashes all the time.
Yeah.
He's crashed 5 times in the past year.
But yeah, and also for like Jumbo Visma,
Yep.
who they went from having a good amount of riders. I think they're down to like maybe 10 riders now. So
I think 7.
yeah,
I think 7.
they've crashed out a lot. I mean, even Primoz Roglic, who is
Yep. Right.
you know,
A GC contender,
GC
came in
favorite.
second place last year's tour.
exactly.
He lost a ton of time today. He's not out.
He's
He
not
got
out.
they
Not
caught
out,
back with
yeah.
the front group, but he lost a bunch of time.
So today, stage 3, there were some crashes from touching wheels coming around tight corners, not necessarily spectator induced.
No.
But the one that we're talking about from stage 1 was the woman that you alluded to that has fled the country. There was the big group of cyclists were coming by on the road, the peloton, and they were out standing in the road
Oh yeah.
with a sign facing the camera. So the camera that's on a motorcycle going with the bicycles.
A TikTok opportunity.
Yeah.
Not facing the ride.
Yeah, her back's to the bike.
It was
to the
in
cyclists.
French. It was like Coco LA or something like that.
No,
So,
it was
LA.
Des Moines or
Omi,
something.
which was I saw the translation as like grandma and grandpa.
Yeah.
I don't know if those two
I know
together
LA
mean
means
something
like go.
else.
Right.
LA,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
I'm sure
So
grandma and
it's-
grandpa were very proud.
I don't know if it even had anything to do with the race.
Right. But she's right on the side of the road. Tony Martin from Team Jumbo-Visma drills right into the back of this sign, the back of this person who's not paying attention. Like, for a photo op, like, first of all, go stand 10 feet off the road. The
Right.
camera's still going to see you. Hold up your dumbass cardboard sign.
Right.
And
He hit the deck hard too.
He smashed,
Yeah.
he smashed his head off the ground. If you saw
so
the
many
replay.
people went down.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
just a total
Chaos.
House of Cards scenario of just chaos.
Yeah.
Like metal on metal, carbon on carbon, helmets on tarmac, just like brutal, absolutely brutal. And there's been 5 or 6 brutal crashes already. There were 3 in the first stage, and
I think there was 4 today.
Yeah.
Altogether. And
That second one on the first stage, it was almost worse.
That one was
Yes,
bad.
I couldn't
big
tell.
one that
I couldn't
happened.
tell what happened.
that
but
hit the guy that was
The
standing
guy
on the side
Yeah,
of the road.
yeah.
Oh, took him out. Yeah.
Well,
It's because everybody rode on trainers for.
everyone's riding rollers, can't go anywhere.
That's Garen Thomas. He's doing all those Swift ads.
Yeah.
Well, my point is the last crash, which was leading up to the finish, which
Yeah.
the UCI, they eliminated the tuck and
Yes.
the super for safety reasons.
Oh, yeah.
And then they go and make a course that ends like this. It's like
Right.
it's basically to a funnel. Like,
Oh,
like,
yeah.
What do you think's going to happen?
Yeah.
There's road furniture everywhere. It's just like
Right.
You're getting shot out of a cannon on the last turn,
Like-
and it's nuts.
for safety.
Yeah, I feel bad for Sagan.
Yeah, the UCI is they're a false god, 100%. Yeah,
And I can't it's hard to tell. I know on an audio podcast, but like to see it looked like
This is
simply
video. You
Caleb.
can watch this on YouTube. If you're just listening to this, you can watch it on YouTube. Jared's wrong.
So
Probably
it's like
can't roll
3
the clip.
cameras.
Yeah.
Probably can't put the clip up there, but the way Caleb goes right into Sagan at the end of the race is just like
Yes.
they're going so fast.
So
and he hits
Caleb,
him
you
so
and Peter
hard.
Sagan, 2 sprinters at the
Right.
final 100 meters.
That was
Yeah,
tough.
300
That was
meters.
300 meters?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was tough.
And they both just go sliding for like 20 feet, and the only like you feel it on your skin.
Yeah,
you
it
feel
was
so
a
bad
big
for them.
slide.
Yeah.
Peter was bodying him into the corner the whole time, man.
Yeah.
I remember when I first started watching bike racing, I used to think like Sagan was this just absolute monster. Like no one in the peloton looked like him. He was just like a big muscular
he's built
dude.
different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then now I feel that same way about Vanderpool. Like
Absolutely
when you
built
see this
different.
guy at the front of the race, he is just like a fucking monster. The
Yeah, it's
dude is
wild.
almost Hulk-like.
He rides a bike like a hockey player. It's
Yeah.
like his humping shoulders.
It's amazing.
He's just like one of the most fascinating people I've ever seen ride a bike. And like, it's great that he's holding yellow right now. I'll be interested to see how long he can actually
Didn't he
hold on
win
to
the
it.
cyclocross too last?
I know he's been like a force
him
to be
and
like
Wout van
reckoned
Aert have
with
been going
in
back and forth on
cyclocross.
cyclocross
Yeah.
world championships. I think Vanderpool has it right now.
Yeah.
Popo.
But yeah, we're still early stage 3, but I mean, action packed. It's like the NBA playoffs this year. Like it's just absolutely crazy and unexpected.
Does anyone have any like predictions or expectations or people that they want to win? I'm a big Jumbo Visma fan and a Team EF fan. I would love to see. I want Wout van Aert to win. He never will.
Yeah.
I want him to. I'd love to see Primož Roglič win. I like that team a lot. I would like to see
Rigoberto Urán.
absolute stud from Team EF. He's like 34 years
And he's
old.
in a good spot. He's in a good spot right now too.
He's in a great spot. He went to that team to sort of to phase into his retirement and become a domestique, right? Which means like you're going to sort of carry around other riders to the end of the race so that they can perform.
Yeah.
Like form that strong pace line. And he's
Workhorse.
just been killing it. And he is their GC contender from that team, right?
Yep.
Like in
Yes, he
this
is.
race. Yeah.
I want Lachlan to win.
Yeah. He goes across the Champs-Elysees before they do, and you just
They just shut down the whole country, give him the yellow jersey.
Hell yeah.
But what he's doing is great.
He
That's
was
really
ahead
awesome.
last time I looked.
Well, he watched
he watched them
go by. He had his first warm meal today.
Yeah, that was so cool watching him watch the Peloton go by.
It is really cool. And speaking of them, I'm with Jeep on Rigoberto, but I've been watching that movie star documentary on Netflix, kind of like the, I don't know, but it's like that standard sports documentary where they follow the team, like the F1 series, etc. But I find myself looking for them in the Peloton while watching the Tour de France. But EF is definitely hands down the favorite team.
And it's hard not to like Tadej Pogacar.
Agreed.
Won it last year.
Agreed.
He's the youngest. Guy's 21 years old.
Right.
How do you not love that?
Team UAE Emirates, right?
Yeah.
Right in the Conago.
Yep. Beautiful.
Love bike racing. It's kind of funny because I feel like not a lot of cyclists are not invested, but watch bike racing.
Different. Yeah, it's a different part of it. Right?
And you don't really get that. I feel like if basketball is your hobby and you're playing pickup games down at the gym, you also probably watch a lot of basketball.
Yeah. I think it's probably a little bit more.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's more rare for it to happen. But I also think it's because of the scope of that sport in our society as Americans. Right?
Yeah, that's true.
It's not easy to watch the Tour.
No, it's just now becoming a little easy to watch.
But you still have to have some app subscription or NBC Sports.
It's like golf almost.
Yeah, it's like golf.
Yeah.
You have to actually search it out. Whereas NBA playoffs, you can put it on ABC, right, and it's going to be on primetime TV. And it's also European time, so you wake up and the stage starts at 7:30 our time.
Yeah,
and
it's starting at 12:30.
The interest of the people in the country, but in the Midwest, they're probably not watching this.
No, they're not.
But it's funny. I don't know if we talked about this on the last podcast, but I just can't believe that crit racing and short crits aren't broadcast on some sort of ESPN
so
channel.
Exciting. It is so exciting.
Yeah.
And the turnout for these races in certain areas is pretty good too. So it's exciting.
Yeah.
And you could put that on a primetime slot because it's not an all-day race.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Right.
It comes down to money.
Yeah, that too. But.
And there's a narrative that you can tell in American crit racing too. You have Legion dominating, people want to take them down. You have the Trevor McCabe drama that goes on with him being the amateur national champion. There's plenty of stories to tell within the sport. It's just I don't understand.
Do it. Yeah, right.
I just don't understand.
ESPN's not going to pick it up, so not anytime soon.
Right? Yeah,
which is weird because ESPN will show every college sports game.
Poker.
That's being played on any day.
It's because of their licensing with the NCAA.
Oh no, I get it. But they have
a reason
for the
programming.
Right.
Don't they play poker on the show poker on ESPN?
For hours every day.
That's not sports.
The NHL's finally getting a space on ESPN because they just signed a contract with them, giving them millions of dollars. Nice. So now they'll show.
Right. But they don't even cover that. So
I didn't even realize
it's all
they weren't
about
on
media
there.
buys.
Never.
Yeah.
And that's just because somebody else has the rights to NHL.
Right, NBC
it's not like
Sports
anybody holds the rights
Exactly.
to crit racing.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm sure, it's probably a money grab, but it's just crazy that it's not on TV, especially with technology. It's so easy to broadcast something like that.
Yeah.
Everybody watch crit racing so it gets popular enough that they'll put it on ESPN.
They have it on YouTube and stuff like that, or Facebook,
so
Instagram, whatever.
Live?
Yeah. Live feeds.
Yeah. USA Cycling is trying to start to grab it for themselves, I've noticed. So they have their own website. You can watch on usacrits.tv. So they're trying to grab it, but it's still how many people can you reach with just them, you need some sort of distribution arm to really throw you over the
hopefully it's going in the right direction.
Right. Yeah, at least they're doing something. And I've never been able to watch it so easily before. So it's nice to see it progressing at least.
I feel right now we're experiencing bike racing to become more popular in America.
I hope so.
Yeah,
I really
think
hope so.
the reason why it's not popular is because in America it's looked at as being lame.
Yeah.
Well, Instagram is doing a big thing about changing that, and you see videos people just doing let's see how this hub sounds it's just kind of cool, just highlighting the cool parts of it, because when you see the guy on the side of the road wearing spandex and it's
it's awful.
But when you romanticize it and make it look cool, because it is cool. I mean, why do we all do it?
Yeah, it's cool as hell. Come on, we're all cool as hell.
It's rad.
I only do cool stuff. So
that's why Bart does it.
Yeah, Bart's cool. We're cool.
But yeah, it's one of those things where it's coming up, and I think the internet's a big help for that. And
Right.
Yeah, I agree.
For sure.
I'm excited to see what it has what's coming up.
Do you think maybe like it's also gaining popularity because of COVID? Because so many people got into
Yeah.
riding. It's a
Cycling
thing
in
to do.
general
Yeah.
got
Probably.
so big.
I even know personal people in my life that have started
Same.
riding since
Yeah.
just because of the pandemic, kind
Right.
of being stuck inside and stuff.
Me.
Like that, yeah.
Have you tried?
Yeah.
Have you tried to buy a
me.
bike? Have you tried to buy a bike lately?
Yeah,
You
it sucks.
can't
You can't
find
find
it.
That's
It's
why I bought
impossible.
Brian's because I couldn't get
you
one.
can't find
You
it.
can't find a new one, and all the resale is
Or
wild.
if you don't know what you're looking at, which I go to steal because I know what I'm looking at.
Mhm.
But if you don't know what you're looking at, you're like, oh, this is the right brand or the right
Right.
name, and then you get it, and it's just like,
It's like companies are putting out new bikes, but they can't even put the new bikes out because they're
Yeah.
like selling out instantly, or like don't even have
well,
enough.
it's the supply,
Like, no,
it's the
yeah, you couldn't-
material supply.
Yeah.
Like you can't
Right.
make them.
Like they just put out the new Rival E-Tap, but like
Yep.
Noah can't
Gone.
even get shifters for it.
Gone. Yep.
All this
really?
stuff's
Wow.
Yeah, like you can't even
Yeah.
you can't get it.
Huh.
All of this stuff's made overseas, and all of these countries are impacted hugely by all of this, coronavirus and
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they
They
any,
just can't-
anything, any manufacturing, like
Right.
getting materials for anything is very difficult right now. So
And the penis boat.
yeah, that boat. Yeah,
The one in the canal.
canal.
Why is it a penis boat?
It drew a penis like
And it's like pattern.
on the map.
before it went into the
Oh,
canal, which is my
God.
favorite part of the whole thing.
Wait, it did that like as a.
I don't know if they were like just waiting to get into the canal
Yeah.
and just went and did it, but
Oh, I didn't know that.
is
But,
that verified though?
boat that
Did
got
that
stuck?
actually happen?
I think that we got
That's like
trolled.
when
I
you
think we
use
got
your-
trolled on that
the
one.
penis part.
I want
It's
to
like when you use
fact.
your Strava map to draw a middle finger.
Yeah.
I want to fact check on Brian's facts.
We
over
might
here.
have, we need a fact checker.
Yeah, Jamie.
Pull that up.
Insert the fact checker.
Yeah.
Oh boy,
So what's next?
we went off on
So-
a little tangent there.
Jared loves
I
to
know,
mention
that's
Loves
what
tangents.
tangents.
Word of the day.
Jared,
Not to go off on a
podcasts
tangent.
Man, we
are just tangents.
we really
Tangent
talked about a
on this
topic there.
tangent.
Yeah. I mean,
point.
really, like, yeah, it's just about tangents. So, last topic. Well, we don't have to limit ourselves. We could talk forever.
No, this is it.
The next bullet point. Maddie's very serious.
Hard
so
stop.
I'm going to ask you then. Maddie.
this is-
okay.
oh,
This is
no.
going to be directed right at you.
I got to be home before the sun goes down.
My mom says
can't
if
drive
I get
at
home
night.
when the street lamps
Street
go
lights
on,
come
she's
on.
gonna hit me.
Yeah. She's not going to let me ride my bike for a week.
Yeah. She's gonna chain it up.
So we sort of talked about fueling while you ride. I like to ride my bike so I can eat food. I like to eat while I'm riding. I like to stop mid-ride and eat stuff. I like to eat food after I ride. Maddie, when it comes to food and cycling, are there any things like rewards that you like to eat after you're done, mid-ride snacks, things you like to keep in your jersey pocket to eat while you're riding? Anything come to mind when you think of like food and cycling?
Well, first of all, I don't eat anything while I'm riding because I'm not good enough at riding without my hands.
Okay.
So I've been practicing. I'm getting better.
Witness.
Cool.
It's I'm literally only
He's
practicing
getting much
so that I
better.
can pull something out and
Much
open
better.
it
You have to
while I'm
practice
riding.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can.
Not easy.
You just
I could do it as a-
open everything, just loose nuts.
Yes,
And you watch the
I got
pros like putting on the
cashews.
New Jersey, writing a book while they're riding.
Yeah.
Yeah. I could do it as a kid, and then
Yeah.
once I started riding again, I can barely do it for 5 seconds. Like
You're talking no hands, 100%.
no hands, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
I'm not great at no hands.
Yeah, but so mostly like I'm only eating like on my breaks and stuff.
Gotcha.
But mostly thanks to Brian, Nutter Butters.
Yep.
Mostly because like I love those.
Yeah,
Just-
so good.
yeah.
What
And
better
so
time?
Now
to-
I have an excuse to eat
right
them.
mid-calorie
Oh, yeah.
burn.
Yeah,
You've burned a bunch, and
The
then you're
best.
gonna burn some more.
And the
Yeah.
substance of it, I like.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's good. Yeah, they're not super heavy because when I first start, like my first couple of rides, I had Cliff Bars with me, and I could only get through like half of
Thick.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, I can't eat this anymore.
So Nutter Bars, that's a go-to.
Yeah, right now, when I was up in Vermont, I had to go to a bike store to buy a lock because we forgot to bring one. And they had the those Untapped.
Yes. The maple waffles.
Oh,
Yes,
yeah.
I bought
Yeah.
those, and those are very good.
They're
I like
amazing.
those a lot. I also got the like just pure maple syrup, but
That they have,
I
like,
haven't
in-
tried those yet.
Yeah. Those are great.
All right, we were talking about food.
Yeah, we're talking about
Maddie
food. We
loves-
took a break. One of the cameras went down. There's
Welcome
scotch
back.
on the table. We're back.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was talking about Nutter Butters. Cliff Bars are bad. And
Yeah,
then-
because they're
the
dry.
the Untapped maple
Solid.
waffles are good.
And you had one of the sleeves of just the syrup.
I haven't
that you
tried
put
that
in.
yet,
Yeah.
but I have it.
What a
Which
great
is
Shout out
it's
to
hard
I
for me
didn't
not to
realize they
eat.
did just the
Ha-
syrup.
Yeah.
I want to try because I love maple syrup, and so the fact that they make it in just a little pouch is like I'm just gonna start just carrying them in my pockets at work. Sugar?
Yeah, it's the ones that you get from Burger King.
Just like little cups. Yeah. I have that in the sweet and sour.
I want to see somebody
mix them sometimes.
I believe the ex-pro cyclist Ted King is a part of that company.
He is.
Yep.
Oh,
Ted
really?
King
That's
and his
pretty
wife
cool.
are all
Speaking
about
of
Untapped.
Cannondale.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, food
Cool
food. I mean, what a great sport that you can even do this while riding and like, it's like such a celebrated thing inside the sport. I love it. It's a double-edged sword for me though. So for like perfect example, kind of recovering from an injury right now, I did not change my diet while recovering for the injury, and like as most people know, cyclists tend to eat a lot, so it just started instantly blowing back up. But so that's the double-edged sword with food is like, you know, if you're riding a lot, you can almost eat whatever you want. You shouldn't, but as soon as you stop, it's a pretty big chain reaction.
Right. So you're just talking calories in general, not necessarily on the bike, but just like in order to recover appropriately.
Right.
You're eating before, you're eating during, you're eating after, you're putting all those calories back in, right? Because you're burning a lot of calories out on the bike.
Yeah, eating on the bike, I've been trying to get better at. I'm trying.
I've gotten.
I love it.
I don't like to brag about much, but I'm so
you've inspired me.
Good at eating while I ride.
Yeah.
Not just like
that's what I'm trying to get.
Not just the dexterity, but knowing
Yeah.
what to eat when has been such an experiment for me over the past year because I try to do a lot of long rides, right? And the timing of how and when to eat certain things because your body's going to respond to certain things in a way is like, I mean, it's very specific to each person. Yeah. But like I have it down now to like mile 10, I'm eating 4 mini pancakes. I always bring mini pancakes. And at mile 15, I'm eating like another like carb with electrolyte thing. Yeah. And then I'm saving my gels for later in the ride. If I'm stopping mid-ride, if we're going to a place to get coffee, any pastry, donut, croissant, whatever, sugar and carbs. But that's because I'm going for a lot of miles. You know, it's different. It's different for everybody. And like those aren't all necessarily things I enjoy. I like the mini pancakes, but like gels, I don't like them because they taste good. Yeah. But they give me what I need, and they're processed easily in my body. So that's why I save them for later in my ride because my body's a little bit more hammered at that point. Right. Mm-hmm. And they know that I can take in this electrolyte paste essentially that like has caffeine and fucking B vitamins. Right.
That's something I have to get better at for sure. I actually watch you on our rides. So like when you reach for a bottle, I'll make sure to reach for one. Just so it's an easy reminder just to watch people around you too.
I drink every 10 minutes, eat every 10 miles. That is essentially the formula that I'm working with right now.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So lately I've been trying, if I go on a 2-hour ride, I'm trying to eat every 45 minutes, pretty much. 2-hour plus ride. Trying to eat every 45 minutes.
And it's different times of year. You need to be drinking more water when it's this hot out, right? It's super hot right now. You're going to be drinking more water. You're going to, you might want to refill both bottles twice on a long ride as opposed to once mid-ride, So yeah, it's different. Like, Jeremy, anything that you can think of food-wise, maybe the favorite thing you've ever eaten on a ride or your favorite snack to take on a ride or anything like that?
Yeah, the best thing I've ever eaten on a ride, very specific. Remember that time when DSP made those, you weren't there.
I just love how you're so. I'm laughing because I love how passionate you are about this right now.
Yeah.
You're so into it.
You know exactly what I'm talking about.
Was it the rice?
Yeah,
the sushi. So Brian and Nate went through this phase where they were making their own.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I remember.
I did a little bit of like the date bars, but they were experimenting way more.
I thought he made like a bean sandwich once.
Yes, bean sandwich. Little rice like sushi
beans.
Rolls with like blueberries in the middle.
Did like the sushi rolls.
Really good.
The sushi rolls. I forget what was in them. But yeah, those were awesome.
Blueberries.
Blueberries.
White rice and blueberries.
White rice and blueberries. Yeah. So it was great carbs.
Sugar. Carb. Yeah, carbs.
Rolled up perfectly.
Yep.
Yeah, rice cakes
in a little cellophane. Yeah, I was making like
sushi rice,
date and almond and like nutmeg and stuff like mixed with peanut butter. I should get back to that because like the amount of money you spend on certain things. Yeah. So like I'm always searching for a deal or like a Strava challenge that gets me 25% off science and sport gels, if I can get them for close to $1, I'm going to buy 100 of them. You can see my basement right now. I found them for $1 and I bought way too many because normally they're closer to $2. Yeah. So you're saving like half a price, So that's a little, like, I guess, little inside tip. There are a lot of challenges on Strava that if you hit a certain mileage, they're going to give you 10, 20, 30% off on brands like
I just did the Picky Bars one.
Picky Bars, Honey Stingers, all that sort of stuff.
It's not cheap.
Yeah, no, they're not cheap. So yeah, if you can make them, and there are a lot of cool recipes online for like the ones that I were making were no bake. It was really just like food processor mixing dates with almonds and peanut butter and a little bit of honey. Put it in the fridge, let it sit, and then cut it into bars.
Yeah,
and it doesn't melt in your back pocket, and all that stuff's important.
That's way more of a challenge than riding a bike.
Well,
for me,
it takes time, right? I'd rather spend my time on my bike.
Right.
Yeah. So like, I'm buying shit right now.
Oh, for those turnovers though. Those are worth the time. Those peanut butter and jelly turnovers that you make up for the bike.
Oh, yeah. Well, those were like a special occasion. I don't really eat those on the bike, but I wish I did.
Yeah. If it were a fact of like making your food, I would just be eating hard-boiled eggs. That's the only thing I'd be able to
in your pockets.
Well, you have to peel them every
pre.
No, you don't.
Don't peel them first.
You gotta peel them while you're riding.
You're like breaking the shell on your helmet. Rolling it little pieces. Like, shit, I forgot to add vinegar or whatever to the boiling water. It doesn't peel easily.
Just imagine someone whipping out a Ziploc bag of peeled eggs on the freaking ride.
Eggland's best.
Eggland's best.
Honestly, cyclists are so weird. If someone did that, I'd be like, well, it makes sense. That guy's fucking,
I really like eggs, and I'm not above eating a hard-boiled egg.
If he does this the next time I ride with him, I'm blaming all of you.
You got to be a really good rider in order to eat hard-boiled eggs on your
challenge.
You gotta be really good, or else
bag.
people are gonna just be like, "Yo, that dude's eating hard-boiled eggs."
He's going slow egg guy.
Bring a mayo pack and make a little egg salad while you're riding.
A Ziploc bag of scrambled eggs.
I like
Squirt
that.
some mayonnaise in your mouth.
Just tear a hole in the corner and
Suck it in.
Yeah. Like
I don't know.
Gel.
I feel
Always
like
eggs with you, Brian.
It's always the eggs.
I feel like every group ride has the guy that rides with the banana, and I just don't know how people even do that, let alone.
I don't like bananas, really.
Yeah, they get all soft.
Don't get me started on bananas.
You don't like it?
This is another story. We're not going to talk about this right now.
We don't have enough time for me to talk about how I feel about bananas.
Oh, I love bananas. I just would never eat one on the bike.
Yeah. Next podcast is just going to be me for an hour talking about bananas.
I've done clementines, like clementines in my back pocket, peeled those.
Yeah.
It's not bad. It's too much peeling.
I'm disgusting. I sweat
Do
too much.
You throw the peel on the road, or do you put it back in your
I
pocket?
stop at a compost bin.
Yeah.
I find my local compost
Throw
bin.
it at a squirrel.
Yeah, I throw it at a squirrel. Actually, that's what I do when a squirrel's in the middle of the road or a chipmunk. I wait and then I throw the little rind at them. I don't normally just like toss it away off the side of the road. Keep it in my back pocket. Keep it in my back pocket and use it in case I get a flat and I need to like.
In case Toad rolls up behind you.
Put it in my tire. To keep it from going.
People use banana peels for hot spots on their feet.
Yep, they do.
What? In what way?
Put it in your shoe.
Put it in your shoe to prevent friction between your shoe and your
just
toe.
put up with the
pain.
Also, if you get a slice in your tire,
dad.
That's what I said.
From
like
Big
instead of
John.
like a dollar
bill or
I use
a
dollar
shop
bill
block
usually.
packet or something like that, which that leads to my point. I am so smart when it comes to fixing bikes. I'm like fucking MacGyver.
Yep.
But when it comes to riding the bike and fueling, I am the worst.
I'm pretty bad at it too. Yeah.
I bonk all the time. Like the first sign
you
of
seem proud of it. Are you proud of it?
No, I'm not. But which is I'm happy right now because it seems like I have a font of knowledge to learn from in my cycling future. So because I want to go further with my goals and ride better and whatever. But so. Yeah,
I love it.
We'll make you a little Jeep care package.
Yeah,
I'll show you all my favorites.
Just the information about how you like every 10 minutes because I bring gels with me. I sell gels, whatever. I bring food. Maddie knows I bring food with me, but I never know. Like I'm like sucking on it before I ride. I'm like, is this when I eat it? I don't know.
I do. I will do one before.
Sometimes,
To me, it's even more like I drink a pre-ride, like a prime that has like amino acids in it and caffeine. And I have that like usually with eggs and spinach before I ride. And then I'm eating certain things when I ride. And then I drink a recovery drink after I ride. Because to me, it is about like that big picture in the full circle, right? Because if I don't recover properly, I'm not going to be able to ride again the same way, or it'll have diminishing returns. So, rules.
That's typically what I do. Or I'll have like oatmeal.
Yep.
Oatmeal and 2 eggs, like 2 hours before I go out, and then have the noon prime that you turned me on to.
Yeah.
I never eat before I ride either. Oh, it's bad. I'm doing all the bad things.
Sometimes I show up and I feel so good. I'm like, that was the best ride. And like other rides, I'm just like, holy shit. I feel like I just like rode like a lot more than I did.
Yeah.
I think that was a big problem with that ride a couple days ago. It's like I didn't eat breakfast and I had like this shit ass date brownie thing in my back pocket.
Yeah.
And I didn't eat it until like mile 35. And then I'm like dry mouth trying to eat this thing.
Right. And if you think of 50-mile ride, at mile 35, you have 15 miles left. Your body's probably not even going to process
it's not even going to hit it.
So like that's another thing. Like at first I was splitting up all of the food I had at equal intervals. And I do that at the beginning of the ride, but at the end of the ride, I try to be done eating with like 20 miles to go. Because then I have about an hour to go, right? My body is still processing the food. If I'm eating with 5 miles to go, I'm not going to process that until the car ride home, right? So like, it's really about timing that specifically, but knowing how some people faster metabolism, slower metabolisms, right? Like, it's all really different. Like, Brian, what's your favorite? We know you're a fan of Nutter Butters, right? But like, I can think of my favorite mid-ride meal I shared with you. Everyone has so many things to share with you.
Just a plate of pasta.
We had tacos mid-ride.
That's what I was going to say. The Plymouth ride.
Yeah, we rode to Plymouth and back. We did 100 miles, and at mile 50 in Plymouth, we stopped and we got tacos.
Quesadilla and the birria tacos with the consomme.
Yep.
And a Mexican Coke.
It ruled.
How'd you feel getting back on the bike?
I did that double metric that day.
Oh, okay.
It was us two and our buddy Sean.
Yeah.
And we were sitting there thinking this could be a terrible idea. It's heavier food. It's heavily seasoned.
50 miles back.
Right?
It's fried spicy that burns twice.
I felt great.
So did I.
I think 10 miles after the stop, I was like, tacos all the time.
That was one of my favorite rides. Like, and then when I ran into you and Michaela when I was finishing that, like trying to finish that double century, and I was just like, that was so fun because I had the whole day. I had no plans.
Right.
We stopped. We got a Dells.
We got Dells at mile 100.
It was more than that because I think you did it like 108 or something that day.
Sure. Yep.
And it felt great. I felt like I could have kept going.
You seemed like you rode like from your house and met us 10 minutes away.
It was very weird.
You didn't seem tired at all.
I felt very, very good that day, and I don't know if that had anything to do with it, but
hopefully you kept a diary of that day. Yeah.
But
it wasn't a double century, right? It was double
metric.
Right?
Double metric.
Right.
Other than that, I just do like, the Science and Sport gels. RX bars are a big
RX
one.
bars are great. Yeah. All those companies that like to brag about it only having 3 ingredients in their bars,
Yeah.
Only 4 ingredients.
The RX bars are really good though. A lot of protein, a lot of carbs.
Ingredients.
Right.
And
potassium because they're dates.
Right.
Yep.
And then Nutter Butters. I haven't been doing the Nutter Butters as much.
I'll take them.
But I got a fucking case in my pantry.
Yeah, he's probably got a 400 pack in this pantry.
I'll do one maybe on like a
low,
century or something. But it's mostly just the gels and RX bars.
What about off the bike? Not when you're trying to not round out that nutrition on a ride. What's the best thing to eat at the end of the 100-mile or double metric century?
I feel like it varies so much.
Yeah, it depends on
I eat everything.
Yeah.
But like
pizza.
One whole Domino's pizza.
Sometimes it's like a Big Mac.
Yeah.
And then sometimes it's like a huge ass salad with a bed of rice and like chicken.
Yeah.
And like, but like a huge salad, like spinach. And that's what I eat like 5 days a week.
Yeah.
It's just like a big ass salad on a bed of rice with spinach, chicken, and then some sort of different type of seasoning and pumpkin seeds or like crispy onions or whatever. That's what I eat 5
I do remember
6
one
nights a
time just eating like a cold rotisserie chicken over the sink.
Yeah.
Still in my
Sometimes
riding
that's how you
outfit.
feel,
Was
right?
this yesterday?
But I still had my full gear on, and I'm just like shoveling this chicken into my mouth over the
Jams
sink.
it into his mouth and pulls all the bones out clean.
Yeah.
I think every time I come home from a ride, I always grab a seltzer and chug it. And then every other time, that's followed up by a big scoop of peanut butter.
You chug seltzer?
Peanut butter.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So
Do you
good.
burp for a half hour
I
afterwards?
don't know what it is.
Over his sink. He's
I can't remember the last
Everyone's
time.
over their sink.
You gotta be. It's a
They don't
mess.
have. They don't have furniture.
I only put.
This table's for podcasting only.
Yeah.
You can't put food on.
Next episode, we should record over the sink.
Who's renting this? Someone's gonna bring it out. when
Yeah.
we leave.
Yeah.
Bretta Center. They'll be here in an hour. So.
Big truck.
Yeah.
I like a burrito though.
Hell
That's
yeah.
probably like my favorite thing after.
Makes sense.
So you gonna
Right.
shameless plug or?
Oh no!
Just throw it right
yeah,
in
just so
there.
happens
Plug
I'm
coming up here,
biased,
I
but
sense
yeah, fat burrito with
From
so
where?
good.
A
In
really
New
bomb
Jersey.
burrito.
Which place?
Chipotle.
Ah, that's what I thought. Yeah.
Now, are you
Ever
talking?
heard of it?
Are you talking like going to bomb and getting a burrito, or are you talking in your fridge left over? Does it matter?
Really doesn't matter. Preferably going.
When
to
are we doing
fresh.
a bomb
Yeah.
burrito ride?
We were actually talking about that
Yes,
last
we were.
weekend. Yeah, we
the
want
hell?
to do an organized ride.
We've
We're
only
like,
done 7 rides. You can't get it all in one. You got to be patient.
I just
God
mean in
damn it.
general.
I want one of the club rides to.
Why don't we do a fucking pizza ride?
Right, and I was just gonna say
What
that we need a
the-
pizza party.
And we're in the pizza
We don't want to
palace
ride
right
to
now.
Pawtucket. No one wants to ride through Pawtucket.
It's not
You'll
great.
end up with
I've
some
ridden
glass
from my
in your
apartment.
tires.
Yeah.
It's bad.
We'll just drive.
Yeah.
Gunshots.
Or bring that metal pizza oven with you. Just carry that to
Okay.
the
Oh, yeah,
next
backpack.
spot. Yeah.
I'll bring my wood oven. It's got wheels.
Just wrap pizza for everybody. Hand it out at the beginning of.
I was
Yeah.
thinking you took the words right out of my mouth.
That's what I want.
Pizza in the back pocket.
Pizza while
A lot
riding.
of strips.
Nice
Why not?
Nice
Yeah.
Detroit slice.
Carbs.
Yeah.
I
All
do.
the carbs.
Maybe
I do.
just like a party pizza.
Yeah. Sauce.
You don't
Yeah.
say that.
Yeah.
So-
Wrapped in cellophane.
But
Yeah.
we don't have enough time for us to get into
We'd
that.
all be disgusting afterwards. Just
Don't
like going
care,
to the next
worth it.
rest stop, like with pizza sauce
Covered
all over
in
our
sauce.
faces, all over
Yeah,
our
I mean,
kids.
it's summer now. We're sweaty as hell.
That's
Anytime
true.
you stop, and like the breeze stops,
I'm
you're just
sweating
like,
right now.
oh,
Yeah. Yes.
this is hot.
Oh, I do like a Snickers bar.
So good.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I
Like
guess I
mid-ride, like gas station.
I would like. I was gonna say I'm famous for. No, I'm not. But I like to eat Reese's Fast Break because Fast Break makes you go fast.
That's true.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Science.
I don't like
Is
Snickers.
that known?
No.
On the bike or off
It's
the
known
bike.
to me.
Yeah.
When I eat a Fast Break, I
That's
feel
okay.
like I go
Yeah.
faster. And I love
We
it
can
because it's
still be
Reese's. It's got
friends.
peanut butter, chocolate. You know.
Why else would they name it Fast Break?
Yeah, makes you go fast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What does Snickers do?
Makes you not hungry.
Oh, it's like the commercials. Eat a Snickers.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Hungry.
Yeah.
Eat
Why
a
wait?
Snickers.
Yeah.
Acting like Danny DeVito.
Oh wow, yeah. You should sell them on that ad. I like that.
Like, here I am.
DeVito.
Forget
No,
about
that
it.
Is
exists.
that what
already.
Danny
Yeah, no, I know. But look at that Danny
It's
DeVito
not
impression.
Danny.
They don't even need to hire him.
It's a
DeVito.
terrible one.
It's perfect.
Committed to it too. That was great.
Oh shit. Yeah, I mean, I feel like I've sort of covered all the topics I want to cover about like food. Is anything else anyone wants to talk about before we get out of here? You could have just ended on the Danny DeVito impression. That might be.
The-
That might
still
be better.
can. Yeah,
It's
just
the
cut it
Irish
there.
goodbye
Just
version of this, just like cut.
Yeah.
Yeah, this kind of branches off onto the diet
Yeah.
portion. How the fuck do you smoke weed and then ride bikes?
I smoke weed before I do everything.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's just
Amen.
my status.
Are we
quo
allowed to plug
for
that?
the past
We're
10
gonna get
years? I don't
pulled.
care. Yeah. I don't think I'm pro talking about that because I feel like it doesn't affect me. Everyone's different, right? Depending on
I've
what
always
you
wanted
eat
to try it.
or what if you smoke. Everyone's different. I'm very used to it. I showed up here high. Right?
Yeah.
I just do. That's just what I do.
Dude, my brother does dabs and he rides bikes.
Yeah,
I've
right,
never-
It's just
Like he
different.
does this.
Yeah,
Never
yeah,
ridden
that's
a
what he
bike.
does.
Block you.
Right arm like this.
That's how he signals when to stand up.
That's a signal.
Guys, I'm ready for another one. I've never ridden a bike not high.
Same.
Ever.
For real?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, maybe when I was a kid. Yeah, but
maybe.
depends.
Can't remember.
It
I'm
depends how far back we
That's why
go.
they call it a
I'm
huffy,
gonna-
bro.
I'm gonna-
Yeah.
I'm gonna third
Damn, a
that,
huffy.
but that goes back to like I used to ride my bike to get out of my parents' house to go smoke weed.
Sure.
So
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
I've been
Chasing
riding
that
it
nostalgia.
like I love bikes so much. I've been riding bikes all my life. I still have the BMX bike that I rode.
Do you still have that bike that you mentioned
The Dyno?
in the
I
beginning?
sold that.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It was
I'm
a
sorry.
it was a
seem
a
upset.
decent bike too. It was an
Yeah.
aluminum. It was a CAD 9 R5.
Yeah.
105 componentry with an Ultegra reel-to-reeler. It had Shimano RS10 rims, which
This is your weed smoking bike?
this is a bike. He's mentioning a bike
Oh,
that I had. I've always been into bikes.
Yeah.
And people, I don't know if people have known me for that, but it's been a part of my life for as far as I know. So
Yeah.
Nice.
The weed smoking bike.
also weed smoking.
Yeah.
So what does it do for you? Like,
It's because I have like social anxiety, and
This
it's how
it calms
it's
me
more
down.
than just like cycling for me.
Yeah.
It's like
I think it has benefits with your blood flow too.
Really?
oh sure, but that's not why I do it. I
Right.
do it because I have a million voices in my head, and it shuts some of them up.
It's also said to be a bronchodilator, which
Absolutely.
opens your capillaries in
Right.
your lungs.
Yep.
Yeah.
But that's not. I'm not like strategically smoking joints on the way to a group ride.
He's
I'm
like,
doing
one
it-
every hour.
Shoot EPO into
Yeah,
my
because
ass.
I like to listen to rap and smoke joints. Like that's just what I do.
SIS gel joint.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
It's just a THC packet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just pure
I do
oil.
keep a vape pen in my bar bag.
Yeah.
Just in case.
Yeah. Definitely take the
I wanna
pen out
try
on the
it.
ride.
Let's try it next
You
time.
should try it.
I'll try it next time.
I'll bring my bong.
That's exactly like because we've talked about it before off the podcast, and everyone being different. Some people might not be comfortable doing it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like some people, I know some people who like can't. They like to get high, but they can't necessarily do certain things while they're high.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know, and it depends on like more power to you if you can do dabs before you're riding. I'm not doing that, you know, because I'll be coughing my brains out. It's just different. It's just different, and
Yeah,
I
what-
have
What was that?
Hardcore.
What was that phrase that you said?
coughing my brains out.
Oh, okay. I thought you said something like "hot from my brains out."
Yeah.
A new saying. I was like, I like that.
Hot for my
I'd
brains
be hot
out.
for my brains
Heard it
out.
on TikTok.
Yeah.
He's trying to use it.
I mean, but at the same time, like how many people are like eating caffeine pills like right before they go for rides and stuff like that?
Tons.
I mean, there are people that we ride with that do that. Yeah, it's just different strokes for different folks, I guess.
Absolutely.
For me, it just makes it more enjoyable, makes time pass a little bit faster. Tend to focus a little bit more, I think.
Does it matter what kind of weed, or is it just
No,
the
I
green
mean,
stuff?
Similar to John, like I'm not going to be doing dabs or anything like that, but yeah, just with the lifestyle that I have, it just coincides and just never.
I think it's somewhat
Yeah.
of a placebo as well. It's just like the act
Sure.
of doing it, and then
It's part of the process.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it just like has been for me with a lot of things in my life
Right.
for a long time.
Yeah, and it makes when you hit a sweet view or like a nice part of a ride, it's awesome. It's great.
You
It's
sound so corny.
I know, but it's so awesome. Like I can't even. I'm thinking about how many rides we've
Peer
been on,
pressure,
especially when we
everybody.
first started.
Smoke weed
Yeah.
before you ride your bikes.
Smoke weed.
Disclaimer: do
Smoke
whatever you
weed.
feel is best for you. But I
Probably
remember,
don't
Yes, it
smoke
is.
weed before you ride your bike. That's even better disclaimer.
First
Probably not a good
first
idea.
time
Yeah,
out,
if
try
you do,
not
we
doing
did
it.
not tell you to do
Yeah,
that.
right. Definitely
Disclaimer.
not a good idea.
It slows your reaction time.
Yeah, right.
I'm not Johnny Knoxville. Do not do this at home.
I know we've talked about this before, but like obviously you're very good at planning routes. And I remember like when we first started riding together, like picking up the sport, I would always just be
Routes.
amazed on the routes that you would take me on. Just
Okay.
like the prettiest views,
So
the
nice of
dopest,
you.
like
Yeah.
quietest roads, farmlands and shit. Like just yeah, and it's just I feel maybe
I need to
maybe
get
it's
better
just
at
a little
that.
more enhanced now.
At building routes,
Uh-huh.
for me, we all need to get better at being human beings, right?
Yeah.
Like honestly,
That's true.
like in every aspect, right? So if
Yeah.
that means wanting to make better routes or riding your bike more or being better at smoking weed and riding your bike, but that like the progress of
Riding
being,
without hands.
riding without hands, being able to come over your fear of bananas, wherever that comes from. I'm not afraid of them. Hey, you chose not to explain, so I'm gonna paint a picture.
All right.
We need another hour for this, so that's
Yeah.
why I didn't do
Yeah.
it.
Next episode.
Yeah.
But like, you know what I mean? Like that to me, that's what it's all about.
Continuous
And
improvement.
and that's what like this group is all about. Is like self-improvement, group improvement, and just like trying to be a better person in. Not that making better routes will make you a better person, right? But just like trying to be better at things, right? Like
Yeah.
push yourself and try to be better at things. Yeah.
Right.
So
Usually I just do the like auto route thing.
do you?
The
And then I'll,
easiest
like,
thing
edit.
possible.
I do.
Doesn't make
Start
sense.
point.
And then I'll like
But-
edit
But you look at the
around.
roads then.
I'll edit around
take a look-
that.
well-
or I'll like steal someone's route and then
Sure.
edit around that.
Sure.
Oh yeah, I just steal people's routes. That's the
Yeah.
main thing. Yeah.
But I don't know. I've made some okay ones.
Because when we talk about an auto-generated route, Strava, which we've talked about, is an app that we use to track your ride, and it does maps and it shows you different data. It's a very popular social media app within cycling and also running and other types of fitness, right?
Mhm.
So, Maddie, what does that mean? You go to an area in a map and you click auto-generate, and it'll map
Yeah,
up
I'll
something for you.
I'll like put the address in where I want to start, and then I'll like look at the different options it gives me.
Yep.
And decide. I'll like look at the roads and see.
Yeah.
Because sometimes like sometimes they are not good.
They're not good.
They'll just put you on like a
like a highway.
That one that we do, where, like there's a stop and then a turn and then a turn and then a left turn. It's all uphill.
Oh yeah, it's like an uphill right.
It's just like
and you're stopping.
Traffic light, traffic light, turn right uphill. Traffic light, turn left uphill. It's awful.
Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta like.
That's not smooth.
You gotta
that's not
edit
smooth
it.
at all.
You have to use it as like a rough outline and then edit around it.
Yeah. I've had it put me out on like 2 lanes, like stoplight every single like 100 feet.
Yeah.
And it's awful. It's terrible.
I think I got a cool auto-generated route like one time. And then the other ones, you just like, get on I-95 right here.
Yeah. You haven't
just
ridden.
come to the group ride.
You haven't ridden until you've ridden a John Stenning route. Let me tell you.
I literally like lose sleep over. Was that a good idea? Should we take a left here? Or should we take a right? Is that the right coffee place to stop at? Should we be stopping at a new coffee place every time? So
we've literally had discussions about should we go at this much of a descent into a turn as a group on certain routes. It gets down to like that level of detail.
That
because if you're coming down a descent, I know exactly what ride you're talking about, exactly when it happened. Someone flew by us on a descent and they weren't familiar with the roads. And I was like, Jared, there's a stop sign coming up. That person is making a foolish move right now.
Yeah.
And sure enough, they were like, oh, we're stopping. And it was like, yeah, bro, if you don't know, like you got to be cautious.
Right.
Yeah. So it does help to know the roads.
Yeah.
But like, how else do you learn them other than to ride them? You know? Like it comes with the experience.
It's a good skill to have. Anybody who can provide that service or anybody who can like create that service like technology, who can ever get you the nicest routes the fastest will make a lot of money in cycling. Guaranteed. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
You hear that?
On this.
My
Yeah,
wife-
you guys are looking at me.
Honestly,
my wife's a
That's
photographer. She's a map maker, so we'll just
You're
get her
gonna
on
make
that.
a-
I would honestly pay
super
for that
A
service.
cycling atlas by John Stenning.
If someone could give me
it
like,
sort of exists.
if you pay
but
like,
I know what you mean.
Yeah.
I mean, I just wish that Strava had like an option for like don't give me roads with traffic lights.
Right.
Just give me very
Like avoiding
like
tolls
untraveled.
on
Yeah,
the
yeah.
No
Apple
toll
Maps.
roads.
Yeah.
I'd prefer
No
to-
on ramps.
Yeah.
Especially like a gravel rider, like they are so
Those are hard.
dialed into their routes and like knowing where to go and like conditions of roads, like if you can like if you can provide that to someone who's like just getting into the sport, like I think that would be absolutely huge because it's tough. Not like the biggest thing, like a lot of people stick to the bike path simply because they just don't know where to
really,
go.
It's intimidating.
Right.
Yeah.
Like they don't know where to go, and then they don't want to end up on the wrong road or like a busy road.
Right.
Yeah, it'd be nice to do something. We can't give away too many of these ideas in the podcast.
Yeah, sure.
now the wheels are spinning. And I'm like, oh wow, what if you were like this road has new pavement? You know, like that because that's even nicer. Like,
Yeah.
You know?
Also, the integration between platforms, because I know most of you guys use Wahoo, if not
Correct.
all.
Yeah.
I use a Garmin, and I noticed that sometimes me and Maddie's information are a little bit.
Yeah.
The distance and specifically the elevation will be different. I'll even notice that elevation on my Wahoo will be different than the elevation on my Strava.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, and I think that has to do with I think that's like a satellite thing. I don't think it's necessarily anything to do with between like the two companies themselves. I think it's just like they use different satellites.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And I trust the Garmin more than I trust Wahoo because their whole company is satellite GPS. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
Which is why I went with Garmin. Well, so I'm used to Garmin because that's what we sold when I worked at the bike shop. But I just like the quality of their.
It's also been around for a lot longer.
Their maps.
Their actual GPS company.
Right.
Yeah,
I just think a lot of people use
better.
Wahoo because of like the trainers and like there's so much
Other
like
integration.
integrated things and it's so easy.
There's merit to both
It's
sides.
like it's plug and play. It's like buying an Apple over a PC.
Yeah, it's like a product universe that they've created.
Yeah.
I do think Wahoo has way better customer service than Garmin, though.
Well, luckily my Garmin
they've been
hasn't
sending
broke
me
down yet,
tickers
so I don't have to deal
left
with that.
and right because they don't fucking
things
work.
break,
but-
sensors don't work.
And also from a mechanic side of things, I just like the way Garmin's sensors attach better.
Wahoo sponsor us.
Or Garmin.
Or Garmin.
Or anyone willing to pay.
Actually, you
anything.
want to sponsor us? Yeah,
Crew,
literally any
The-
company.
Yeah,
anyone.
the Hammerhead.
Nutter Butter, Nabisco, hit us up.
Oh,
Yeah.
shit.
Nutter
That's
Butter.
to be said.
Chiquita?
All right, I take back
Please,
the Wahoo.
please sponsor us.
Chiquita.
No.
Is it
I'd
the
wear,
only
I'd
banana
wear
company?
a jersey.
Are there any
I wouldn't
other?
eat a banana.
I would eat it. I'll wear a Chiquita jersey.
Yeah.
Are there any
Get
other
7-Eleven
banana
bags.
companies
The
than
market.
Chiquita, or is it the only banana company?
Dole.
Yeah, Dole bananas.
Dole.
Yeah.
That is cool.
Cut the bottom out from under.
Yeah, Chiquita's cool. You got
The
lady
with
dancing.
the hat,
Yeah.
with the banana hat.
After Bart Simpson, the Chiquita lady is going to be our next t-shirt.
Yeah, should be.
I'd wear that.
Yeah,
Maddie probably wouldn't though.
Maddie would.
I don't appreciate any of this.
Let's
conversation,
leave the episode on a banana cliffhanger.
Oh no.
Thank you all very much. Thank you for listening or watching or whatever. Jared swears it's not a video podcast. We got some things to cue him in on, I guess. The GoPro that he brought.
This GoPro right
Yeah.
here.
But yeah, thanks. Thank you, everyone. Bye.
See ya.
Decaf left, regular right. Decaf left, regular right. It's very challenging work.